Warning, the beverage you're about to witness was actually really terrible. I ended up throwing it away after about like 5 sips, which is unheard of for me. Maybe it was the wine that I used, but man, it was awful. I don't recommend making this drink, but since I went to all the effort of putting on a proper costume, I figured it'd be a shame not to post it anyway. Enjoy, if possible.
Good evening. You should feel very fortunate today, for today you shall be introduced to the Bishop.
That's right, welcome to Dan's Bar! Today we're making the Bishop. Now the Bishop is a drink that kind of started off as more of a cocktail that you would have as a punch, as a big thing in a cocktail party where you have a lot of wine and a little bit of spirits added into it. My hair is all asunder. Look in the little mirror there, yeah. So the Bishop started off as that, but the Bishop kind of transformed into being its own cocktail that's almost a wine type cocktail. It's really identified by having a white rum combined with a red wine. You know, got the white, got the red, and then a little bit of lime juice and a little bit of simple syrup thrown in there just for some good measure. When you make this, make sure you do not use a dark rum. One of my test recipes used a dark rum and it was not good at all. I did some alcohol abuse and threw it away. I feel shame, but it was really bad. So, white, clear rum, the Bishop. I don't know an association, but we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna be making a Bishop today, and it's gonna be 2 parts of our rum, 1 part of our red wine, and then just a dribble of our simple syrup and half of a lime worth of juice into a cocktail shaker. We'll get it all shaken up nice and good. I have a nice little fancy ceramic wine glass here, but it's not gonna be pretty because we can't pour it in and see all that glistening goodness. So we may end up swapping that out for something clear, just so you can see all the delightful bliss that's gonna be inside of there. But we'll get to there once we get to the end. To start, let's go ahead and start with our cocktail. So we have a little cocktail shaker full of our ice cubes, and we're gonna go ahead and put in 2 parts of our white rum. Gonna put in 2 ounces of that guy. Incidentally, white rum and lime juice would just be a nice drink by itself. Maybe a little simple syrup in there too, but the red wine's gonna add some body, it's gonna add some substance, and depending on which one you use, can have a lot of character adding into it as well. So which red wine you use will make a big impact in terms of how it tastes, because I happen to have a cork that's stuck in this bottle of a Bordeaux that's open. We're gonna use this, but you could use any kind of red wine, a Malbec, a Pinot, a Bordeaux. You could use a port, wouldn't recommend it. And we're gonna put in 1 part of red wine. Now some recipes say you should only use maybe a half an ounce. I personally want a little bit more of the red wine flavor, so I'm gonna use a full ounce to go alongside my 2 ounces of my white rum. So I've got my 2 ounces of that in there, taking out my fancy dancy pour. And once we've got that, I'm gonna go ahead and put in just a dribble of our simple syrup. Now this, you can probably, if you wanna measure, maybe a half an ounce, quarter an ounce. Not a lot, because you already got the sweetness that's going to be both the lime juice as well as the red wine. But we're just going to go ahead and put in a little dribble of that. I don't want to overpower it, and I tend to like my drinks a little bit less sweet, so personally, I'm going to take that back just a touch. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut my lime in half here, and then we're going to go ahead and squeeze half of that into our glass with our fancy dancy little thing here. Now, this is technically a lime, but it does not fit into the lime squeezing segment of this squeezer. Hashtag GMO things make lots of juice, apparently. So we're just gonna use the lemon part of our squeezer, and it's gonna fit in just perfectly. And when we do that, we're gonna go ahead and use the leverage power of physics to squeeze half of our lime and not get juice too everywhere. I'm trying not to squirt all over the table, said Ripley to the Android Bishop. Kudos if you got that reference. And then we're gonna go ahead and give our cocktail a little shake. A little shake is always good for the soul. And now this cocktail is gonna be one that is, if you have a little bit of red wine left and want to spice it up a little bit, by all means, maybe end the evening with something that steps it up a notch. If you're having some red wine in your dinner and you want to add something a little bit beyond that, as opposed to just the seasoning that's in it, add a little bit in. The white rum isn't really going to add a whole lot of flavor to it. It's just going to add that little touch of sweetness that rum's got, as well as a little bit more bite, and expose the flavors that are coming out of the lime as well. So I think it's going to be a nice combination that we can get with that all put together. And we will use a wine glass to put this into, just so we can see all the delightful colors that come out of this. Pan's starting to get numb, so we're going to go ahead and decant this into our gorgeous little glass. And the little one size cocktail shaker, it's perfect for one. If you're doing multiple, use a bigger one, but you know, For one, this is just right. And look at that gorgeous little dark maroon purplish color. The little bit of green that's in that lime juice is really going to combine with that kind of pink that we get from diluting the red wine and make a really, really gorgeous cocktail. A little bit of the shaking is going to give that whiteness to it, a little bit more effervescence. It's really just a delightful looking cocktail, don't you think? To go with delightful looking people that all of you are. You know, you have to have a cocktail that matches how beautiful you are. Craft it so that it emulates your own beauty. And if you don't think you're pretty, well, you're wrong. You are. And so make a cocktail that matches it. Man, it's pretty. How's it taste? That's quite good. You get a little bit of the freshness from the lime. If you ever walked into a vineyard in the rooms where they have the fermentation going on, it tastes a little bit like that because the rum kind of elevates the alcohol content from the wine, and the lime kind of helps elevate that and expose that more through the drink. But it really has a nice flavor, and whatever wine you have, any flavors that are in it, it's gonna kind of bring that up a couple more levels. So that's quite nice, and I'm not sure we want to have more than 1 or 2 of these just because the amount of rum that's in it, but this would be a great way to take a standard glass of wine, elevate it up a notch, make it fancy, make it good enough to match you, because you deserve it. Yep, that'll do just fine. I hope you're having a great day, whatever it happens to be. Enjoy everything that you're going on, and find the little things in life that make you happy. With that, enjoy your cocktails, happy practicing. Cheers.